Hey guys, so this tutorial I'm going to be showing you a landscape painting from memory. I've called it From Chaos to Control because basically I'm going to start it off with just a bunch of random brush strokes. The more random the better. Some texture brushes, get some interesting shapes and stuff, and then we're going to turn it into a believable landscape using fundamentals, which I'm going to explain. So I'm going to go through your value range, your lights to darks, your composition, layout, and atmospheric perspective, working in planes, going from background being light to midground being your midtones, and then your foreground being the darkest value. So yeah, enjoy. Okay guys, so this tutorial is chaos to control. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a landscape painting by starting off with just some random ass brush strokes, just loads of texture, just create some chaos, just throw different brush strokes, different paint marks onto the canvas, and then we're going to bring in some control by using fundamentals. So basically what you're going to see is I'm just going to splash on a load of different brush strokes, and then I'm going to bring in my knowledge of perspective, value control and composition, and we're going to turn it into a landscape. So this should be interesting. Just going to jump on in. So what I normally like to start off with a landscape, obviously we've got a landscape format here, and then I'm just going to cover my canvas in a mid-tone, and then I've got this canvas texture brush, and I'm just going to start creating some chaos. And then again, I always say, just like looking at clouds and then seeing pictures within clouds, that's what we're hoping for here. Start to see shapes and different planes and levels, and then just use your imagination and turn it into a landscape. Let's get some interesting brushes. Got some really cool brush packs by Greg Rakowski. Lots of cool texture on them, and obviously my smudge brushes, very important. Let's bring in my favorite smudge brush. Alright, this is not chaotic enough. Let's go crazy. As you can see, it just looks like nothing at the minute. I may even throw in some photo textures as well, just to create some more randomness, some more chaos. I'm just starting in grayscale, just picking some different values. So you can already kind of see stuff happening, like maybe this here could be a rock face and then a cliff, and then the landscape's coming down there. I don't know. Whatever. So we're just going to keep painting. And then smudging. I really want to mess up this canvas, so let's use some more brushes. Literally, it just doesn't matter. I'm not even thinking about this at all. Just make a mess. And the beauty of digital painting is I'm not actually making a mess. I don't have to tidy anything up afterwards. I will be doing oil painting tutorials again, probably showing this chaos to control method just with using oils. Kind of like do an abstract oil painting for you guys in real time. If I get time to do that, I've really been wanting to do some oils again. I much prefer doing traditional stuff than digital, but it's just more rewarding. But digital is what I do for work, digital art, so got to keep practicing that. And I feel like doing traditional is just going to complement my digital stuff anyway, because I want mine kind of grounded in traditional knowledge and fundamentals.
I think I'm waffling on a bit. Right, so just smudging around. May even drop in some photo textures in a minute, like I said. Let's mess up this canvas a bit more. I mean, even though it's like completely random, I'm still, as you can see, my mind is still sort of starting to paint a landscape. That's like the background. So the important thing of landscapes is you're doing 3 planes. You're doing your background, which is normally lighter. So you need 3 different planes of value. So you've got your light plane, your mid-tones, and then your background. Sorry, your foreground is the darkest value, and then your mid-tones, obviously mid-ground, mid-tones, and your background is your lightest value. So that's, it doesn't have to be like that. You can break the rules, but it's a good fundamental for landscapes. And then you need to find where your horizon line is. It's probably going to be down here somewhere, but I'll work that out as I go. I want some more chaos before I do that. And then we'll use a mixer brush. Mess it all up a little bit. It's a really cool way of working. It's loose, it's fun, expressive. I just wish I could do this kind of method for my client work. It seems to only work when I'm doing something personal, because when you're doing client work, you have to quite often work to a certain spec, or you know, you're working for the client's needs. Maybe I should start being a bit more braver and just going a bit crazy with my client work. See what they say. Or maybe that's just for someone a bit more experienced. Maybe I'm not experienced enough yet. You know, like the likes of Karl Kopinski, for his job, he just does Karl Kopinski. He just does his sketching. He doesn't really have to change his style or anything like that to suit a client's needs anymore. They just want what he does. Right, let's mess it up some more. You get like a nice traditional look when you use these texture brushes as well. Very enjoyable. Let's use some different smudge brushes. This is a cool one. Look at that. Get some nice spiky shapes. I think this is probably going to turn into my comfort zone, which is sci-fi, dark sci-fi environment. That's my comfort zone, that's what I'm good at. So for the purpose of a tutorial, that's what I'm going to do. And it's what I enjoy the most, so whatever. It's looking a bit too smudgy, we need some hard edges. Again, just being random as hell. Blah, 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 blah. Use some different brushes. Don't normally use this brush pack often, so. Ooh, that's interesting. Cool. Instant weird square shapes. I like that. Try not to overdo it. That's a cool one as well. Whee! Right, I'm going to start bringing in some control soon, I think. I might throw in some photo textures. What we got? Da, da, da. Bring in some machinery. some sort of excavator. I want to turn it grayscale, obviously. Blop. And then put it on a soft light layer. Don't know if this is going to work, but whatever. Let's just throw it in. I mean, that looks disgusting, but I'm going to work with it. Try and find something there. I told you it was going to get messy. Right, let's start bringing in some control. So, like I said, we need to start employing some fundamentals now. So, you've got your background, your middle ground, and your foreground. And then we want to stick to a value range. So, if you look here, we don't want to go use our darkest darks, and we don't want to use our lightest lights. We want to kind of be somewhere in the middle here at this stage. Don't ask me why, it just looks better that way. And then we're going to start plotting in our horizon line. So I'm going to do like a tilted horizon, I think. That can be our horizon line. So this is where our eye level is. And then we want to make sure we're sticking to the rule of thirds. So, whoopsie daisy. Rule of thirds is that. So you want your focal points, so your detailed bits where you want to direct the viewer in these sections here. So just keep remembering that, and then keep remembering perspective as well. Let's make some sort of landscape. So that looks a bit weird because it's kind of too far in the middle. We're going to move that over. Whatever that is, I don't even know what it is. Another good thing to do, flip the canvas. So you get a fresh look. And I'm going to use the old soft brush now, because the values there are too dark. And we're going to correct that. Kind of wish I didn't put that photo in, but hey ho. It's called Chaos to Control for a reason. Right, let's start making sense of this, shall we? Just thinking there's a source of light breaking through a mostly dark scene. So again, like I said, I'm going for dark, so sci-fi. So it's going to be like 2/3 dark values and then 1/3 light values. That's the value structure we're going to go for. These are just fundamental rules you've got to stick to. It's just the rules of image making. It's just what the human eye likes to see. Don't know why. We're just wired that way. It's like when you listen to music. If something sounds off key, everyone knows that it's off. That's why we worked out the scales of music. just the way, I don't know, it's quite fascinating. It's just the way we evolved. We just like certain things and we dislike other things, you know. Music and art, it's obviously subjective, but you have to stick within the rules. You can bend the rules, but they have to be grounded within the fundamental rules of like scales, like I said, like with music, or as I say, composition, value, anatomy, perspective, all the rest of it. You can't just paint randomly. This is looking interesting. Let's start getting crazy. So we're going to make that look like you're looking up, you know, some sort of structure up there. Could be a cannon or something, don't know. Start making some flowy lines. I want it to be like a fisheye kind of perspective, like a wide angle. This isn't the best start I've made to a painting, but I'll work with it. Starting to make sense now. Let's just smooth out this background. Is that camera still recording? Yes, good. So we've started with absolute chaos and now we're turning it into something recognizable using fundamentals. So we've got our three planes, we've got our light background, mid-tone, mid-ground, and then dark foreground. Three planes, and then we've used our rule of thirds, so we've got something going on here, something going on there, something going on there. That's going to allow our viewer to travel through the piece. You're a visual storyteller. You're telling the viewer where to go. It's like focal points are like a set of instructions telling the viewer where to look. We're not just painting randomly. We were at first, but we're not now. This is kind of like my default, just jaggedy rocks and stuff. I do other stuff, obviously, if you look at my portfolio, but this is where I'm most comfortable. This is what I'm naturally good at. Don't really need to think too much of it. As opposed to when I'm doing character work, it's like a real struggle for me. Obviously I'm learning and I'm going to get better, but this is the stuff that everyone has a forte, everyone has stuff that they're kind of naturally good at. And these dark, evil looking landscapes, that's my forte. But I was never going to be one of those artists that just did that, because it would just get too boring and I wouldn't get as much work. I think the reason why I've never really struggled with finding work is because I give everything a go and I'll try my best at it. You know, clients are like, oh, can you do an animation? Yeah, sure, I can do that. Can you do some character work? Yeah, no worries. I'm not going to be like, no, I'm a dark sci-fi landscape painter, and then I've just lost that job. Got to be someone that's good to work with. Right, where am I going with this? Where was that cool brush that did the squares? I like that. Use that again. It wasn't that one, but I'll try it anyway. This one? No. Still cool though. That looks like a kind of like a machine, like a bridge, like a steel bridge. So I'll remember that. Just creating some detail. And of course, you've got to make the noise. You've got to make the sound effects. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Where is that brush I used? It was cool. That's cool. I'll use that. Was it that one? Yeah. This one's good for making different planes. It's interesting. When you hear me say planes, that's just like, so imagine a square, like a plane, like the top of the plane. If your light source is coming down this way, you know, like it's going to be shining on the top of the plane. The shadow is going to be, you know, the one facing, like not facing the light. Think of the same with rocks. Everything is just a plane. Not the kind of thing that flies, but you know what I mean. Right, let's start using some sensible brushes now. One of these. How long's it been recording? 21 minutes already. Let's start making this look good now. Bring in some different values. Start making sense of these structures. Again, just using your imagination. Creating overlap as well to help sell the depth of the painting. So there and there. Very important. Flip the canvas. That actually looks pretty cool. I want to darken up this. It's a little bit too light for me. We're doing a dark landscape. So it needs to be dark. So except for this, this will be a massive focal point here because you've got your darkest dark hitting your lightest light. The viewer's eye is going to be drawn to that instantly. This is my favourite bit, just painting in light. It's good fun. And then right in the horizon there, I'll have some light popping out. Question is, what is this thing? Is it a natural structure? I'm going to make it look unnatural now. By building in straight lines. Nature does not work in straight lines. Start adding some depth again, so there's more structures fading into the background. I tend to paint a bit too quick when I'm recording a tutorial. I need to slow down. I know people's attention spans are pretty bad these days, but if you stick with these videos, you might learn something. Or not. You might think I'm talking a load of rubbish. Whatever. Take it or leave it. I think that's looking pretty fun. So, you remember how we started this one off? Just looked like an absolute mess. I mean, it still looks like quite a mess, to be fair, but you can look at it and think that's an environment rather than what the hell is all of that. And I've done that by bringing in fundamentals. That's how important they are. You can turn a complete mess into something tangible by knowing your fundamentals. So learn them. Composition, values, perspective, very important for landscapes. Light, shadow, obviously your characters, anatomy. Then you got your shape language, so that's shape language is square is like mechanical and trustworthy. Triangle shape language is evil and dark, so hence why we see lots of triangles and sharp things. And circles are friendly and kind. But you can use combinations of all the different shape languages as well. This is mainly spiky. Now this is my favourite bit. You see what I'm doing here? I'm just seeing a little valley coming through there. And then we're painting little pathways out of the light. This is very enjoyable, this bit. Very, very enjoyable indeed. Starts to kind of make sense now. Cool. I like that. Right, I'm probably going to stop the video in a minute and then do a part 2. Nearly at 30 minutes. Not bad for 30 minutes work. See, if this was designing a character from scratch, I'd probably be nowhere near this level of completion after 30 minutes. It would take forever. So we got some corners there. Something weird's going on here, I need to get rid of that. Again, that's value. I mean, why is there a dark value there? And then some hard edges. Instead, we're just going to turn it into like a rock, I guess. Let's get another interesting brush. This one. People say I look really angry when I paint. I probably do. It's my concentration face. I'm not an angry person, really. I'm an artist. Very emotional. And I do talk absolute nonsense when I'm doing these as well. It's like you're using like a different part of your brain to paint than you do to verbally communicate. I find it hard to do both at the same time. Right, flip the canvas. Flip it. Let's start to really push the perspective. I want it to feel... Let's do some straight line work as well, actually. Sod it. Let's go crazy. See, now it looks way more man-made. Whoopsie daisy. Way more man-made than it did before. Right, I'm going to stop this video in a second and do a part 2 for y'all. Right, see you in part 2.